139 of the Bros Talking Soccer podcast. My name is Dave Kniddle, here with my two brothers to talk about what's happening in American and English soccer. Matthew, hello.
Hello. Thank you for going to me first.
Of course.
This never happens.
I know. Well, he's sitting right next to me, so I figured I was going to go to him first. Christian, hello.
I don't like this. I'm all off my game now. I'm so thrown off.
Thrown off, like when I asked you to do the game plug.
Dave, I want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it, but I did a phenomenal job this week for the Premier League one because I was super prepared.
Oh, that's good because, yeah, the one that we did not go exceptionally well, but that's okay. We pushed through it, and that's what it's about, everyone. Welcome to a soccer podcast where three brothers talk about what's happening in American and European soccer, English soccer. If you're watching live on YouTube, say hello, interact with us as we go along here. If you're watching in the future, leave a comment, say hello. We would still love to hear from you. Guys, I think we're ready to just jump in. So in case you can't tell, I am physically here in person with Matthew. So I don't want to.
And if you're not, stop touching. Stop touching everybody.
Okay. So I don't want to spend a bunch of time editing the podcast. So we're not going to do breaks here. We're just going to power through and all of that. But I'm going to be doing all this again once we start the podcast. So I don't really know why I'm saying it. Are we ready to go?
Are you going to drink like that the whole time? It's going to be like jingling with the ice?
Yes, it will be.
Okay.
He will.
Okay. Just wondering.
Should I move the microphone to the opposite side?
It's fine.
Maybe, but you also could just mute it when I'm talking, and that's your time to drink.
It's always my time to drink.
All right. We ready to get going?
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 139 of the Bros Talking Soccer podcast, a podcast where three brothers talk about what's happening in American and English soccer. My name is Dave Kniddle, the eldest Kniddle brother. I'm here with my two brothers, Christian and Matt. Christian, hello. How are you?
I'm really good now. In the video portion, Dave went to Matt first because he's live in person with Matt. But he always comes to me first because, we do an age order type of talking on this podcast. So I'm doing great now, Dave. Thank you for asking. Matt, how are you doing?
I'm doing great now, Christian. Thank you for asking. I'm so glad somebody asked me. Dave, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Matt. Thank you so much for asking. All right. I'm happy to be here in Houston. We had a little bit too much fun on Friday night, jumped into the pool after hours, lost in some Jenga, and had a little bit too much to drink. So we're recording on Sunday. So Saturday was a pretty chill day. Didn't do a ton, but watched a bunch of soccer, football, and Hulu, Netflix. We were jumping around to all kinds of TV. But overall, it's been a great trip. I'm enjoying my time here.
Football and American football.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you for that, Christian. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Matt, anything else you would like to report?
No.
Okay. All right. So that's that. Christian, over to you. Oh, before we get into it, we're a part of the Big Heads Media Network. Go to Big Heads Media for all kinds of awesome podcasts. Additionally, because I am live in person with Matthew, we're going to do one long podcast because I don't want to spend a ton of time editing. I want to continue exploring Houston. So it's just going to be one long podcast, no musical breaks. We'll still do all of our plugs and everything like that, but it's just going to be one long show. So, Christian, over to you for our trivia question.
Our trivia question is going to be about Kevin De Bruyne. He had his eighth assist yesterday in 7 matches. When is the last time that happened in the Premier League, and who did that? Had 8 assists in the first 7 games, specifically. Let me just clarify that. All right, that is the question. Think on that. And Matthew, over to you for Matt's Megs.
Thank you, Christian, for that lovely introduction. Today, we're doing our twist of Matt's Megs into our favorite drinking Matt situation where Matt's wild speculations is going to come out. Because I read one article on the internet that proves facts. So I saw Jurgen Klopp, or Liverpool are worried that Jurgen Klopp is vulnerable to a Germany national team offer that he would take. To be honest, I think that would be the next move of his career. I don't know how much more he can do in the club game. He's done everything at Liverpool. Christian, do you worry about that? And how much longer do you think, or do you expect Klopp to be even at Liverpool?
Well, I expect him to be there until 2022. My guess is during the next World Cup cycle, he will take over for Germany, and that'll be a very sad emotional moment for all us Liverpool fans. But we will see the great return of our captain, Steven Gerrard, at that time, is my guess. And yeah, that's what I expect to happen. I think 2022 is probably when we will see Klopp move on.
Dave, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I understand where it's coming from. Love has been at Germany for it's like 10 or
like
years.
I mean, like 35 years, something like that.
How long he's been there. And for it, especially after the performance last World Cup, I was surprised they re-upped him. And I know they didn't do amazing in whatever the heck was that Nations League, yeah, where the Netherlands really kind of showed them up. And so I could see Germany wanting to go a different direction with Love, and Klopp should be their first choice. I mean, it makes sense, but I think, Christian hit the nail on the head. He's got a contract through 2022. He seems like a guy that is in projects for a long time. He was 7 years at Mainz, 7 years at Dortmund. I assume he wants to be there a little bit longer at Liverpool, but I mean, yeah, I can definitely see it happening, but I think it's probably a couple years.
2022 will be 7 years, so that would be very funny to see that happen.
There you go.
Hilarious.
Just 3 sevens. Lucky number 7.
I think Germany. Well, I think they had a couple bad results in Euro qualifiers, but I don't know how they're doing now. But I think Love, if he doesn't do well in that tournament, because that's another major tournament coming up next year. I think we're just assuming he gets until 2022, but I don't even know if he gets there. I know they haven't looked the same as they have before, Dave.
Yeah, well, I wasn't saying that Germany keeps Love till 2022. I was saying that I think Liverpool or Klopp will stay at Liverpool. I was saying that, yeah, if Germany doesn't have a good performance over these, at the Euros or in qualifying, I could see Germany going a different direction. And I could see Klopp being their first choice. I just don't know if Klopp will leave Liverpool at that point. Because I think Germany's going to be there for him in the future if he wants it. That's my feeling.
I think Germany will always be there. Yes, you are correct.
Okay. Do you guys think? Do you think he would be successful as a national team manager?
Yeah. Yes, I think that he could. You know what? Now thinking about that, tactically, sometimes he just doesn't get it right on certain days. And even though he has a lot of quality in his team, and the Germany pool is enormous with their quality, it'd be interesting to see because it is a completely different game. And sometimes you see him against weaker sides just not have good performances. So it'll be interesting to see what Matt is just drinking. And I could hear that for a second. But they're trying to mute over there, so I'm going to keep talking. So, yeah, I think Jurgen Klopp obviously is one of the best managers in the world. I think that he's not the best tactically, but just emotionally, he's able to get his team up for performances and grind out results. So that is a lot of the international games. I wouldn't be surprised to see him be successful. It's just a big unknown right now.
Yeah, I think international management's so interesting because I think that if you are really tactically advanced and can communicate your ideas, quickly and efficiently to players, it can be successful. But a lot of times, because you don't have a ton of time with players, simplifying things and just being a good man manager could be very successful. And I mean, that's one thing that Klopp is. Players love playing for him, and he's built successful teams at the club level. And I think he would translate to a good national team manager because he seems like a player's manager. And I think that's what national team managers are good at.
So do you think that he would need 2 different, I guess, what is it called? Cycles, I guess is what they are, the 4-year cycles for the World Cup, because he has taken 7 years to get his projects really up and running in a lot of these clubs. Do you think he would need 2 separate cycles?
Yes, Germany is going to give him 7 years to figure things out. Now, he's I think he's had teams that weren't necessarily at the point where they need to be when he took over, whereas Germany already has kind of top end talent, and it's different with international. And I think he would be successful earlier than he has been at club level.
Yeah, well, I mean, Dortmund and Liverpool were also winning titles in his 4th year, so I guess that is about right. He just likes to stay at places, it seems like, for 7 to 8 years.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Matt. I think that it's been different situations at the club level, and Germany has talent, and I wouldn't be shocked to see him come in and do well earlier.
Yeah, fair enough. Hey, anything else you guys want to add on this? Or
I'm good.
Anything else in life? Okay, moving on. Let's stay on manager wild speculations. Manchester City. Pep Guardiola, manager of Manchester City.
Yep.
Yeah, I think
That's correct.
He still is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he told the media, all of the media, every person, including us, that he is sure Mikel
Arteta
will
Arteta.
Ratata will take over Manchester City after he is gone. I mean, he's been the assistant manager since Pep.
Assistant to the manager?
Assistant to Manchester City manager since he came to Manchester. I'm not sure actually if he missed the 1 year.
I think he missed the first season, but he's been there for a couple of years.
Yeah,
now.
I think this is his third year. But I think they played together at La Masia, or I don't think they played together. Pep was like on the team while Arteta was coming through, and that he was kind of like his mentor there. When Arteta started out, it was funny because he was basically just sat there and Pep just talked his ear off all game, and it's just funny how like the years have gone on. Arteta gets a word in every once in a while. So it's good to see that he's able to speak now, which I'm very proud of him. Dave, I'll start with you. Do you think this is a good move for Manchester City?
I don't know. I get what they're trying to do, and I guess Barcelona sort of pioneered this where they had guys come through in the academy and then they take over at the first team. So, and I mean, what Manchester City has done has modeled themselves on FC Barcelona. They got executives from there. They've gotten coaches. They've built up the infrastructure and all that. And so I can see it potentially being successful. Having said that, I mean, taking over a club like Manchester City with no first team experience as a manager is definitely a risky proposition. And so I think it is a huge risk. The risk is somewhat mitigated by the fact that he's learning from probably the best manager in the world right now. And he's been in that system for years and years. And when Pep leaves, his contract runs through 2021 or 2022.
He extended
right?
again, like another year. I think it's 22 or something.
Exactly. So if he's got 4 more years of learning or something like that under Pep, he might be ready. It's just a slight risk, I think, from City.
It is a risk, but I feel like we've seen that specifically with Barcelona, where they hire managers who are at the youth level as their first jobs, and that's how Pep kind of started. So if Pep is seeing Arteta just gaining all this information and thinks he has the, wherewithal to do this, then I think that he should be given the chance, because Pep, then again, at Old Trafford, Sir Alex was like, oh yeah, Moyes should definitely come in here. So you never know with a manager trying to appoint their successor. It doesn't really work that way. Obviously a different situation because Moyes did have a lot of experience in the Premier League, but it is always risky to go after your heir.
Yeah, I think it's smart to have succession planning from City to even be thinking about these things. But Matt, you're the City fan. What do you think about this?
So I like it. I think our original plan that kind of blew up when Pep got there was Patrick Vieira going through all the other, I guess, Etihad, whatever our ownership group. He was going to New York, and then he went to
City Football Group.
The City Football Group, yeah. So he was at New York, manager there. Then he went to somewhere in France.
He went to Nice, but you guys weren't. He wasn't a part of you guys.
He wasn't? Okay. I thought we bought Nice.
I don't think so. City Football Group doesn't own Nice.
We bought one of the French teams.
When?
Like last year.
I knew you guys had some sort of ownership with Girona.
Yeah, we have them.
Yeah,
we have. And
Matt's wild speculation. Here we go. They own a French team now. Christian, you want to look this up? Or
you guys keep talking.
Let Matt's wild speculations just be true. Everyone, just agree with me here.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let's just say Nice. So he's still going through the ranks of the City Football Group. I thought he would be a good manager. He played for the club in his last couple of years as a professional. So I think he at least has that going for him. And I think the fans like him. Management likes him. I like Arteta too. So I think he would work out. But I still like the Vieira having prior experience. Do we not have him?
I don't see one here. I see teams in Japan, China, Spain, wherever the heck this is, or Uruguay, and Melbourne. So, okay. But, yeah, because I thought it was a big deal that Vieira left City's system. Manchester City, Christian, can you read that, please?
Yeah, Manchester City's plan for global domination.
Okay.
That's what the article is. That's
Yeah.
about it. But no, they do not own Nice.
Yeah, so I get what you were trying to say. And honestly, I think I would have preferred something like that where, I mean, we're kind of seeing with Dome Turan, actually, because he was Pep's assistant for 11 years. He left to take over New York City FC. And I could see someone like him then coming back, a similar plan for Arteta. I think it would be good to have first team experience managing somewhere before you manage a club like City. But I don't know. They clearly feel different. And there's nothing really for me to say. Like, City has not really put a foot wrong in the way that they've built their club over the last 10 plus years since they came in and took over. They've invested in infrastructure. They've hired in the front office. They're exploiting every advantage that they can possibly get. So it's tough for me to question them here. What are you laughing at?
There's nothing for me to say, but I'm going to talk for the next 60 seconds.
No. I meant there's nothing for me to question. Yeah, say isn't the right thing. I meant, like, who am I to question what City's plans are? That's what I meant.
We're the media, Dave.
Shut up, Christian.
So, as I listened very closely to what Dave just said for the last minute, I did some research as well. And it seems as though Citigroup was about to have a partnership with Toulouse last year. Because I think they were in financial issues. So they were supposed to get with the French league side. It said announcement expected in September of last year. But apparently they never announced. So
Christian, what do you want to say?
They happened to lose out on that.
I was thinking the same thing. Oh my God.
To lose or not to lose. All right. So good topic, guys.
Yes,
good work. Topic. Good work all around. Anything else you guys want to add?
No, I'm good.
All right. So that's going to wrap up Matt's wild speculations. Listen to no music. No music.
Listen to no music.
Listen to nothing.
Don't get any music for you.
Silent for the next 15 minutes. No.
Okay, and we'll be here with a new sponsor. Yeah.
No, not a new sponsor.
Advertisement.
Same sponsor.
Same advertisement.
Or, yeah.
We're just going to do the Stadium C plug now, guys. Jesus. Check out our friends at Stadium Scene if you're going to any stadium for any sport in the US or Canada. They have information on where to park near the stadium, what events are happening in the area, what bars and restaurants are in the area, and all that good stuff. Matt, what else do they got on Stadium Scene?
Well, they also partner with content creators like ourselves and offer you things like podcasts, what we're doing right now, blog posts, YouTube videos, just great thorough content that, wholehearted stuff here. Right. And it's not just soccer, it's all sports North America. So check them out at stadiumscene.tv.
Dave just didn't want to give us the chance to just talk it. He had to get his voice in there just a little bit to get
Guys, if people don't hear me, how will they know that I am here?
Well, they got to watch the YouTube video, and they can see you right there, just sitting silently like a good little boy. All right, welcome to Christian's Corner.
He's like a boy.
Welcome to Christian's Corner, where we talk about some crazy shit happening in the Premier League. So we're going to start with Arsenal appointing Shaka as their captain this week. Dave, I'll start with you. What do you think about this decision? Do you think it's the right call? Do you think that there's someone else should have been appointed? What are your thoughts?
So no, it's not the right call. But taking a step back, this is Emery having 5 captains, right? Is this his whole we're gonna have a set of rotating captains?
I have a vote or something, but I think he is the main captain.
So that's shocking to me. So I was on another podcast.
Shaka.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was on another podcast. What was it? It was the we were on together, Matt, where we were talking about Shaka, right? The game show. Who kicked the corner flag? And it's just I cannot believe that David Luiz and Granit Xhaka are in the same team, and they made it to the level that they're at based on the way that they defend. I don't know how Shaka isn't picking up a yellow card in the first half of every game that he's involved in and getting a red card early in the second half because he just doesn't adjust his style. And so I get that if you want to be an enforcer, something like that. But what I see from him often is just making dumb plays where it's unnecessary tackles or it's rushing in and just getting himself wildly out of position.
And it's not even that he's going in recklessly. It's just that he's in bad positions and then has to foul.
Yeah. Well,
I think
he's
he
going
goes
in
in pretty
recklessly.
reckless.
He's not going in with excessive force to injure somebody. He's just out of position, so he has to try and recover. I don't think he's purposely trying to hurt anybody or trying to get rid of cards, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think he's purposely.
He's purposely taking yellows because he's caught out.
I don't even think it's purpose sometimes. Like sometimes he's just rushing in to make a tackle rather than sometimes it does make sense to contain, right? You don't need to win the ball every single time at the very first chance. And so that's more what frustrates me about watching him play. As far as like captain qualities, I think I have heard some off-field stuff that he is a good guy and somewhat of a good leader. And so there are elements of that, but just watching him play, he doesn't make me feel good if that was my captain. So that's where I stand.
It doesn't make me feel good.
Doesn't make me feel good.
Matt, what do you think about Shaka as the captain of Arsenal?
I'm fine with it. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like who else would even be captain of that squad right now. I think he does seem like a leader a little bit. I know he's reckless and things like that, but I think the fans like him a lot. It seems like the team likes him. He gets the start, it seems like every week. So he must be doing something right. And I'm fine with this decision. If I had to guess, I mean, Kolasinac would be my number one. He's that dude's beast. As you've seen the video of him defending Ozil, I just that's a captain if I've ever seen one. It's like Captain America. But I think I'd be fine with Shaka.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to side a little more with Dave here. That I don't think this is the right appointment. Honestly, of all the people, I think Lacazette is probably the best choice for the captain. Just his general persona, the way he performs, I think he is like almost feels like a captain on the field for them. He always plays with passion. You could see like he emotionally is really invested in the game, but he never really loses his cool either. He still is always up for the fight. And I think that his play on the field, and I don't see him off the field, so I don't know what's happening behind the scenes, but I think that he would have been my number one choice.
Why hasn't he been starting? Is it an injury thing?
Yeah, he did get injured recently.
Okay. Because I feel like when all three of them are healthy, I don't know, maybe this is a wrong perception, but it seems like Aubameyang and Pepe are preferred to Lacazette. Is that fair?
They play three up front.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a 4-3-3/4-2-3-1.
Yeah. So usually either Aubameyang goes wide. Yeah, that's what usually happens. Aubameyang and Pepe will be the wide guys.
So when they played Liverpool, I mean, they were pretty much in a flat 4-4-2. So was that just a different look from them?
Plus Lacazette wasn't fit, so.
Got it. Okay.
Oh,
that's
he's
what
fit.
All right. Any other suggestions you have or anything on who you think should be captain or anything else related to this topic?
Yeah, what happened to Ozil? Is he just
Ozil is definitely not a captain. I can tell you that much right now. I don't know. He's still rattled, I think. But he wasn't really playing last year either because he wasn't playing well.
He's just rattled.
You're right.
With the people in the street. I mean, he wasn't playing for a while because he was afraid for his family.
Oh, but he wasn't playing before that.
Yeah, that's what I just said too. I said he wasn't playing before that either because he's bad now.
Okay. I thought he just didn't fit Emery's system.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean by bad now. Did you not understand that? I feel like everybody who's listening understood exactly what I meant there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that one's on me. My apologies.
Anything else you guys want to add on this?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
No, right. Thank you.
So we're going to move on to what Klopp and Benitez have recently said. When Klopp leaves, Gerrard is the obvious heir. They think both of them have the quality, or both of them said he has the quality to step in and be that leader for Liverpool in management. Do you think that he will be ready when Klopp steps in? And I'll go to Matt first here. Do you think that Gerrard is the choice, or do you think that they need him to have more time coaching?
Well, I think it's gonna be tough for Gerrard replacing Klopp. Because I mean they're going to expect this success kind of right away with Gerrard. I know he's going to have like the fan favorite Dalglish when he came back a couple of years ago, and then it didn't work out. It was kind of tough. Did he end up getting fired or did he leave? Okay, yeah. So I mean it's tough when you have a legend like not succeeding, especially Gerrard, because he's so loved right now by all the fans, and it's going to be tough with all the criticism that managers kind of get, for him to replace Klopp, and if they're not performing at the level, which is kind of been unmatched, that Liverpool is playing at right now with, the third highest points they've ever had. They won the Champions League last year. They're on fire this year. I think it's going to be tough for him.
I don't think it's really going to hurt his legacy specifically as a player, obviously. But even if he came back as a manager like Dalglish, he obviously had a great managerial career in the 80s into the 90s. But then when he came back, I don't feel like Liverpool fans have any ill will towards Dalglish, even though he didn't have a successful spell. So I don't know if it really is that big of a risk. So now that you guys are unmuted and I can ask Dave, what do you think about this?
Yeah, well, we got to let Matt drink with his ice cubes. So, no, so I'm just trying to think through, like, Bill Paisley took over for Shankly, and obviously Bob Paisley, excuse me, took over for Bill Shankly, and obviously Shankly had built up a great team, and then Paisley took them even the next step. And so obviously it was a very different time in the 70s, but there's a precedence where Gerrard taking over a team that's already very good, I mean, he might be able to just continue that, and it's set up for success. So I don't know, trying to look on the bright side, that could potentially be a positive. Gerrard is, getting back to the Arteta conversation, Gerrard is managing a first team, in Scotland, and so he's managing at the senior level. By the time Klopp leaves, it could be another few years, so Gerrard might have 5+ years of management, at the it's not the pinnacle, but I mean, Rangers is a big club, and so he might be ready for it. And I don't know I don't think it's a definite yes or a no, but I think that he could be very successful doing it.
Well, I need you to give me a yes or a no.
Will he be successful?
Will he be successful? I mean, I'm just inclined to say no for the reasons that Matt highlighted, because it seems somewhat unsustainable. Like what City has built, like, makes sense why that they're this dominating force. And Liverpool is incredibly talented, but the fact that they're performing at this otherworldly level just seems unsustainable to me, because they don't have the depth that City does, and they don't have across the board the top end talent that City does. And so that's what just makes me a little bit nervous about him potentially coming in. So I'm inclined to say he won't be as successful as Klopp. So yeah, if you're forcing me to give an answer, I'm going to say no.
Wow, unbelievable. You're not even a real fan. All right. Anything else you guys want to add on?
Yeah, for the record, Gerrard was my favorite player ever. So
yeah, me too. Me same. And I think he will be successful just because of his experience at Liverpool. He knows what it's like to be at that club for 15 years as a player, where he was the captain for like 12 of them, and he knows what it is to be the face of the club, which he will be as a manager as well. And yes, it's a different type of role. He doesn't really get to impact on the field with his performance, but it is his tactics, his players that he would set up. I think that he would be a good manager, especially if Klopp's laying this foundation, which he is, bringing in a lot of these youth players that are highly regarded. They might be able to build depth that way to counteract City's spending in their first team. So that's just what I would suggest there.
Fair enough.
Anything else you want to add on this topic of conversation? Matt, don't even come in here with your youth academy with City over there. I know you want to. I can see it in your face.
Just don't, Matt. Like,
just
what
don't
are you doing, Matt?
Don't even do it.
Stop.
All right. So next topic of conversation is Pochettino says that this season is less difficult than his first season at the club. He's obviously had a very, very difficult start. I mean, they're still in the conversation, but like, he's under so much pressure now because of their season last year. They made it to the Champions League final. They finished third for, I think, a second or third consecutive year. They were in the title race until the end. He's under extreme pressure now. Do you actually believe that his first season was more difficult than the pressure that he's facing now? Dave, I'll start with you.
So is it the pressure that's more difficult, or what specifically is difficult? Like,
he just said it's more difficult.
It's just more difficult his first year. I mean, I can somewhat understand that because he was coming from Southampton to Tottenham, right? Yeah. So maybe like adjusting to managing a bigger club may have made it more difficult. I think that he still was somewhat unproven as a manager, even though he was relatively successful at Southampton. It's obviously a big step to take up to one of the big six clubs. And so I can understand it from that perspective. I will say that they're struggling out of the gates here, but it's somewhat understandable. They had the whole transfer saga over the summertime with Eriksen. And then on top of it, you had players getting injured, and some of their summer signings haven't, roared on. I think both of them were injured. Like Lo Celso was hurt, and so was Ndombele, right?
I don't remember
He scored, yes.
No, but he didn't play for like the first few matches.
He scored the first game.
Yeah, he definitely was playing. I think Lo Celso was injured, but I don't think
Maybe he picked up
I think he picked up a knock because he didn't play for a number of matches consecutively. So I think he's just been in it longer. That any time wrap it up. Is that what that is?
That was the rotation. He may have just not been in because he's a new player and they have a lot of quality midfielders.
I don't know. I don't know about that, but whatever. Regardless, yeah, I can understand him saying this. The end.
Okay. Wow, it sounds like Matt's wild speculations over there from Dave. Matt, what do you think about Pochettino saying these comments?
Yeah, I can't believe Dave's wild speculations there. So I'm just a little thrown off. But I think he might be just trying to take the pressure off himself right now and just kind of downplay this whole thing because they haven't looked good. So I think he's just trying to just calm everyone down, calm the media down. But they have looked bad so far this season. Last season, they performed so well in Champions League. They got some big results. I would say last year. I know they still haven't won trophies, but they've gotten some really good results over the last couple of years. Whereas this year, it doesn't look like they look like the same team. I know they drew at City, but looked horrible that game. Ederson, it was on his birthday, clearly still very drunk. That was the only reason why they got a draw in that game. But other than that, they have looked very bad.
Yeah, I don't think performance-wise they've looked up to the task this year. And I don't really believe his comments that his first year was more difficult. I think he is just kind of trying to protect himself at this point by saying, like, he'll figure it out. And obviously he has a more talented team now. It is he'll be able to figure it out. And I think that they still are probably the top 3 team in the league, and they will get out of the Champions League group. They have the quality to do it, and Pochettino is a very, very good manager. I expect that to work out for them. But I don't believe him. I think this is a more difficult situation because of the pressure and the expectations that he's feeling now. What did you just whisper?
Liar. Also, Ndombele was out at least 2 matches with a thigh problem. So in your faces.
Oh, no. Okay. So anything else you would like to add on this conversation about Pochettino?
No.
Okay, good. So we're going to wrap it up here while Matt drinks so slowly that no one will hear him. And I appreciate you stopping by Christian's Corner. We're going to head over to Dave's Domestic Dive right now.
Yes, we will. And for everyone, go check out Deep Into History, an awesome podcast on the Big Heads Media Network. We'll put in an ad for that probably at the end of the podcast, but I wanted to mention that here. It's a great podcast, and so make sure to check that out. Welcome to Dave's Domestic Dive, everyone. Oh, my gosh. Hope you're enjoying things on this lovely Sunday or whenever you're listening to the podcast. We're going to talk about 2 things happening in the MLS. Yes, I said the MLS. First up, New York City FC has clinched, for the most part, many home playoff matches, at least 2, and could clinch a 3rd today. They are, if they clinch, how do I want to say this, guys? I did not prepare it properly. They play at Yankee Stadium. That's what I'm trying to say. They play at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees are a good team in baseball and are going through their playoffs, and they take preference on their stadium. So NYCFC may be forced to play at least 2, possibly all 3 of their playoff matches somewhere other than their home stadium. Christian, I want to go to you first. What do you think about this situation?
I love it. I hate that stupid little field that they play on, and they should have to play on a I mean, it is technically regulation, but on a more
regulation.
A more objectively appropriate field for a professional soccer team. And yes, the Yankees should have preference. They were there first. They're a bigger franchise right now. And I know both of them are in the playoffs, and that's just how it works out. That is the Yankee Stadium. NYCFC, go find a regular field. Go play at a high school stadium. It'll be better than what you could play on.
Does this make MLS look bad?
Yes, but everybody knows that they're in the Yankee Stadium, not the other way around. So you have, obviously, the Yankees as preference.
Matt, what do you think about this?
Yeah, so I feel like it makes it a little bit less worse. I mean, it's a bad look for MLS, but I think it makes it a little bit less worse that it's the Yankees. Like, if it was like a Tampa Bay Rays franchise and they were taking precedence, it would just be worse. But it's like, all right, the Yankees. You know what I mean? So I'll just let that slide a little bit. And now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, like the dimensions of their field playing at Yankee Stadium have always been off. But going back to yesterday, I think was it the Liverpool match?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Okay,
You and
can
I
we
were
get
talking
the
about it.
dimensions of Sheffield's field that looks like it's like 30 by 90, like 90 yards? So it looks so small. It's like, I don't know, that threw me off. But I don't know why every
New York, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. I don't know why every stadium like or every field isn't the exact same size. I feel like at that level they should be able to make it. I know in the rules it's like 100 to 130 in length and like 45 to 65 width. There's something like that. Could be regulation, but I don't understand why it isn't like a 5-yard difference.
Yeah, it is pretty wild how big of a swing it is. You would think at the professional level they would want it a little bit bigger, but I mean, I think it creates a unique element similar to like baseball stadiums. Like you can have different like quirks, and so I kind of like it that it doesn't have to be exactly uniform. But the Yankee Stadium is ridiculous that they're playing soccer there. So they're rumored to possibly be playing at the Mets field. What was that, like City Field or something?
City
like
Life
that?
or Met? Yes.
Yeah, whatever. City
MetLife.
City Link.
No,
City
you're
Life.
mixing all kinds. You're like CenturyLink,
MetLife.
You're mixing all kinds of stuff. The Meadowlands, which I think has some American football games, so I don't know how viable that is, or possibly even the Red Bull Stadium. So, of those three, Christian, what do you think would be best for City?
Well, with the Red Bulls already in the playoffs, they could technically have a home game too. So I don't think that is the answer because that's just wear and tear on the field for having 2 games there. I assume they would have to. My guess is the Meadowlands is probably the best case scenario, but they should only be allotted the tickets for the number of that they have in the Yankee Stadium. I guess they shouldn't get additional tickets for that.
That's an interesting solution. Matt, what do you think of the 3 solutions?
Well, it's not 2000 anymore. It's MetLife Stadium. Get it right, everybody.
I was going to say MetLife too, and I was like, Meadowlands doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
What? It's the new Meadowlands.
It's MetLife Stadium.
It's MetLife, definitely.
Really? Okay.
Old people.
Also, it's not 2000.
Yeah, we went to
when the Eagles went.
We actually went to their first event there.
What was it? U.S. Argentina?
Yeah, U.S. Argentina.
Oh.
All right, sorry, Matt. Continue.
So yeah, playing at MetLife Stadium, I think makes the most sense. It's turf, which is annoying, but it won't do any wear and tear.
Wait, it's turf?
Yeah, MetLife is turf.
All right, I didn't know that. Then that even adds a different element.
I don't think it is. Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Continue. Okay, it's turf, so it won't add wear and tear to the field.
It's wild speculation. He's so confident.
No. The Jets definitely play on turf.
Will they play at the same spot as the Giants?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking of the Giants field. But when we went, I think they rolled out a grass field because it was off season.
Okay.
But I don't like turf. But I'm just saying it would be the less wear and tear and build your own stadium. You moochers.
They do lay grass when soccer is played there.
Okay.
I don't like that. Out of the 3 solutions, probably City Field would be my best, the best option just because.
Get out of the baseball stadiums. I can't.
I know. But it's at least in New York City. And I think playing at the Red Bulls would be a really weird vibe. And then MetLife. Yeah, I'll keep one.
Make them play on the road.
Yeah. I don't know. It is a ridiculous. Like they need to find a stadium. Like this just underscores the fact that this is absolutely ridiculous.
It's Citigroup too. They have so much freaking money.
Yeah, I know we have.
They could build a stadium by next week.
Yeah, I know Tom, who's our NYCFC fan who listens, has said it's not as easy in our Slack channel and stuff like that, which I get to an extent. But honestly, yeah, the amount of funds that Citigroup has and the connections that they have with the Yankees, the whole reason the Yankees were brought in is for their political connections in New York to be able to build a stadium. And so the fact that this is now their 5th season, I believe, something like that, like they've been here 4 or 5 years and we still have no plans for them to have a stadium. I know that they were looking at the Belmont area where the Islanders just broke ground and that sort of fell through, but they need to find a place and they need to find it soon because this is absolutely ridiculous. Christian, anything else you want to add in closing?
Nope.
Matthew, you look like you're about to say something.
So, because it's New York City, they have to be inside the city.
Yeah.
Right. So
they don't have to.
No, I know. Technically, they don't have to be, but their whole.
They have to be.
Yeah.
So I guess I understand it's tough finding land in New York City. to build a stadium, but like I said, like the resources, and when you said the resources, they should be able to do it.
Yeah. And the other thing is you can get creative with stadiums nowadays, like build it a little bit more vertically. Like maybe it's not like a 40,000 seater stadium. Build one of those stadiums up in the air.
Turn like the gravity. So like, everyone's playing like this. Like
what I meant by that is build the stands more vertically, stuff like that, where you just find like an old warehouse. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's somewhere that they can find
an old warehouse and play your games.
All right. Let's move on to the last topic here in Dave's domestic dive. And we're recording Sunday before the MLS matches kick off. But today, all the Eastern Conference teams are playing at 5 p.m. and EST, and all of the Western Conference teams are playing at 7:30 p.m. EST. What do you make of MLS doing this second to last week of the season? All matches are in conference, so there's no interconference play. It's just everybody playing at one time and then another time based on your conference. Do you like that?
Yeah, I like it. I feel like it would make more sense for the last week, just kind of making it more uniform.
Everybody plays the same.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't have any problem with this then. It's just like that way, towards the end of the season, and when results, you have a different mindset going into the game. So everyone not knowing any other results, I mean, obviously they can get instructions from their manager throughout the game, but it just makes it more competitive, I feel like.
So second to last week of the season, like, is that a good time? Like,
do
you want to start it earlier? Do you think?
No, because second to last week of the season, like, this is when it's like you actually have to, like, it matters a little bit more. I mean, obviously every game matters a little bit, but just a little bit. But I think that it's just when it's down to the wire, that's the only time where you need like these specific rules. Whereas it would just be natural throughout the rest of the season.
Christian, what do you think about this?
Yeah, this is the boring section where we're all going to agree. I have a feeling here that I think this makes sense towards the end of the season, and I agree. Probably the second to last week, we're going to see all the Eastern Conference team playing at the same time and all the Western Conference teams playing at the same time, because that does affect your mentality. If results, you might not play some of your starters. You might rest people. You might have to, or you are more fired up. Like, it affects the mentality of your team and the performance on the field. I think everybody should be playing at the same time. You should not be affected by the results, which you will be hearing results, obviously, throughout the game, but it should not be dependent. What are you guys doing over there?
I don't know what Matt is doing.
We're seesawing.
Yeah, we're sitting on my blow-up air mattress that I'm staying at in Matt's place, and so he's just making me go up and down.
Okay. Definitely check out the YouTube video if you're just listening to the podcast. So I don't even know what I was talking about. Oh, yeah. So I agree that everybody should be playing at the same time in the conference. And I agree that the last week should all be played at the same time throughout the league.
Yeah, I do think MLS has gotten this one right. This underscores the fact that throughout the season, they need to have time slots where it's just like, these are when MLS matches are happening. The NFL, you always know you have the 1 o'clock kickoffs, you have the 4 o'clock kickoffs. I know that there's like little nuances and different times. And then you have the Sunday night game and then the Monday night game. Right. And then now you have the Thursday night games, and late in the season you have Saturday games. But whatever. The point is Premier League. It's just these 3 time slots on Saturday, these 2 time slots on Sunday, and then any midweek games are at this time. Like, I think MLS, and I know it comes back to TV contracts and they just play whenever they can get time on TV, but I think that they would just benefit from saying, forget that. Obviously, let's get on TV as much as possible, but let's just get set times where people can program it into their consciousness. It becomes a part of their routine that, all right, every Saturday at 3 o'clock, that's when MLS plays, or maybe it's 6 o'clock because they play throughout the summertime. It's just, they need to have time slots. And so that's more or less what I'm getting at here. And I do think that what they're doing with this second to last week and then the final week of the season, I really like. So I do want to give them props for that. Christian, anything to add on that?
Nope.
Matthew.
No, that was so well said.
Oh my gosh. Thank you guys so much. Especially because I started so well, and I'm glad that I ended it so well too.
Crushed it.
All right, let's get to our listener questions real quick. So first up, we had from our friend Kent Davidson, who I used to play soccer with. So Kent, shout you out at Kent Davidson 47. He said, "Is Manchester United going to sack Gunnar, so Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, or will they chalk the season up to poor transfer window performance and mounting injuries? Matt, what do you think?
So I think it really, to be honest, he could be gone tomorrow if they play poorly. But I think it is a little bit strange, the comments that were said this week, how they're not going to make a title push until 2022.
I didn't hear him say that.
Yeah, that's what they aren't even planning on winning. So I don't know. Maybe if they're trying to build up the culture again.
They don't even want to win.
And they really don't. They're just like, all right, well, this sucks.
Well, you do hear managers say, like, I need 4 transfer window. Like, Sarri came in and said, I need 2 years, and Chelsea gave him 1 year. But you do hear managers say it, and I think it is somewhat legitimate. But, okay, Christian, what do you think?
I think that he's going to get fired, and not like soon, but I think that it will eventually happen over the next few months. My guess is by New Year's, he's going to be gone if results don't start to pick up pretty quickly. I think that he's not doing a great job of getting his team to perform, and I think a lot of his key players, specifically with Pogba, I think that he's just, I mean, he plays well sometimes, he's just inconsistent. And that's been a real problem. And he seems unhappy. He doesn't really want to be there. So I just don't think Ole is the answer right now. But personally, as a Liverpool fan, I hope Ole and Mourinho just keep coming back in and getting fired left and right and just on a rotation here.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Whereas if they fire him, aren't they just continuing this cycle? Like, at some point, you just need to put your foot in the ground and say, all right, we're going to go through a rough period of a couple years, but then it's going to be, good in the long run.
It's like identical to what I just said, but you just changed the words.
No, you were saying that's what he said, and then you were making fun of him for saying they're not going to win.
I wasn't making fun of them. I just said what they said, but in layman's terms.
Okay. So what do you? But do you think that's what they should do?
I said they're building the culture back up.
Okay, but do you think, and you want them to do it, and you think that's smart? You didn't really give an opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay. So you think that they shouldn't sack him?
No, I don't think they should, but just it's tough because how poorly they performed midweek, almost going out at home, and then I don't know. It just so like I would understand it just because how bad they are, but I don't think they should.
Okay.
But they're pretty bad for how good they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they should not be going through this period, but they are.
Christian,
because I just don't think that they are good, and I think that's the problem.
Like
I don't think that their players are that good.
I don't know. Anthony Martial was one of the best teenagers in the world. I know now he's older, but like he was one of the most expensive transfers for a kid his age. He's extremely talented. Marcus Rashford's one of the most talented English players. Pogba is one of the most talented center midfielders. They have the most expensive defender. They have Wan-Bissaka, one of the most promising defenders in English.
De Gea is kind of off, but he's good.
Yeah, but like he was the best goalie in the world. Like they have talent all over.
Christian, do you disagree?
Yes.
With who?
I mean, Pogba is good, but he's not a world-class player.
Oh my!
De Gea is just falling off a cliff on his own. Maguire is not worth the money that they put into him, and he's showing that pretty consistently. Wan-Bissaka, I think, is a good player, but he's obviously pretty young still and is not like I think he's probably third choice right back in England or fourth possibly. So I think that they're throwing money in the wrong places right now, and I just think Rashford is so overrated. It blows my mind that people think he's that good.
Matt, any comments back?
I don't even know.
I think Martial is significantly better than Rashford is, but he's not used correctly.
Plays on the wing. I mean, I don't know. Like all these players, when they go to their national teams, they're great. Literally all of them. Other than, Wan-Bissaka doesn't really play. The other ones perform every single time.
Has not really been performing.
Oh, I don't watch Spain games.
But they all
yeah,
are.
but they all perform.
Harry Maguire is not really like whatever.
They went to the semifinals of the World Cup.
Okay.
As him as their starting center back, and he was like their best one.
All right. So, Christian, getting back to the OGS question, you think he's gone by New Year's?
I think so.
And you think that's the right move?
Yep.
Okay, interesting. Matt, you disagree?
I think he'll somehow stick it out to the end of the season because, I mean, what are they going to do, a mid-season hire and then just be bad again?
Yeah, I think it makes it the full season, and I think they would be smart to just go with him. Like at a certain point, you just have to stick with the manager. And I think, I say this all the time, that cohesion is completely underrated in sports. And yes, the manager's god awful, and you need to get him out. But it seems like other than Pogba, it seems like a lot of the players still respect and respond to Solskjaer. Yeah. And so if they can just build that up and just get that same sort of core, have Ole there and have him continue to build, I think that, it'll be good in the long run.
How the hell did they beat PSG last year?
Yeah.
Do you want to go back into that?
No, Christian.
The not handball that was called? Okay, we're not gonna do this.
Wait, still shouldn't have even gotten to that point. Okay, let's continue.
All right. So that's going to wrap up listener questions. Real quick, before we do that, I want to say thank you so much to John A. You bought us 2 more cups of coffee, and so you've actually bought us, I think, 5 in total now. So thank you so much, John. We really appreciate that, and just wanted to shout you out there for supporting us. Christian, do you want to give our trivia question? We'll give our guesses.
Yes, I would love to give the trivia question. It is Kevin De Bruyne assisted his 8th goal of the year this week, and that was in 7 games. When is the last time a player did that in the Premier League, assisted 8 goals in 7 games, and who was it? Dave, I'll go to you first.
Oh my God, thank you. I'm going to say Ozil, because I know he came out that one year, which is like a ridiculous amount of assists to start, and then I'm going to say it was like 2015.
Good guess. Okay, Matt,
yeah.
What do you think?
I was thinking Ozil too, but just for... I know because Fabregas had that one season where he had so many and then just stopped about halfway. I forget that was when he was on Chelsea or Arsenal, like his first year on Chelsea.
I think it was Chelsea, but I don't know.
I don't remember what year that was. All right, so I'm going to say Fabregas in I think 2012. You think that was when he was there? When was he at Barca? 2013, 14? I don't know.
think he was there later.
It's weird because, as you get older, you used to remember things so well.
And then you have a couple of drinks every night, and then you
every night for
things.
20 years. Okay. I'm gonna say 2000. I guess 14. Fabregas.
All right, guys. One of you got the player right, and that would be Matthew. It is Cesc Fabregas, but he did it with Arsenal in the 09-10 season. He had 8 assists in his first 7 games.
Damn.
So good guesses. Good job, Matt. You got the player right. Yay.
So what do I win?
Nope. You win my praise and respect, which is something that is the most valuable thing in this podcast.
Honor.
So, Dave, why don't you take us home here?
So thank you so much, viewers on YouTube and listeners of the podcast. We always appreciate you joining us. So thank you so much for being here. If you like what we're doing here, please write us a review on iTunes. 5 stars and a written review helps so much. We're up over 40 reviews, I think 25 plus written, and if we can get above 50 written reviews, that seriously boosts our ratings on iTunes apparently. So if you like what we're doing, please consider doing that. We'd really appreciate it. Christian, can you tell people about Slack?
Yeah, so join us on Slack if you want to be in a chat room with Dave and myself and Matt, kind of, but not really, and a bunch of our viewers and listeners. So yeah, what we do in there is we talk about a bunch of different soccer topics. So there's all these channels, such as the top 5 European leagues, Liga MX, MLS, international soccer, and a general category where you could talk about anything you want. And people do, trust me, it gets pretty wild in there. So if you want to join, definitely tweet at us at BT Soccer Pod or email us at bros.talking.soccer, and we will get you involved in the Bros Talking Soccer Slack universe.
Yes, Matthew, you can tell people about our website.
Yeah, our website, www.brostalkingsoccer.com. There, you can find past episodes, read about our past life, just, all that great stuff. Link just
our past life.
But you said live.
Well, we used to, long story short, we used to all be one. And then
we split.
Yeah, then we split. And then there's also a store section where you can buy our sweet merchandise. Cool shirts. Dave's your... Okay, when you're on the air mattress, if someone stands up, the other person falls. So that's what happened there. So Bros Talking Soccer shirts, you can see them here. Dave's got the cool V-neck. I have the standard crew neck, which that's correct.
Yep.
That's the word. And there's also an Amazon store link where just like one additional step to you, do your normal Amazon shopping, just go through that link. No additional cost to you. You can just do your normal stuff. We get a small percentage, and it really helps Dave out. You can also
no additional cost to you too.
That's what I just said.
I don't remember you saying that.
He just said it.
Literally
before
just
you
said it.
Well, I wasn't listening.
Wow.
You can also buy Dave a shot.
You can buy us a shot. That's what John did. He bought us a cup of coffee.
Yeah, which is about like $3. Just if you think we're doing well, you have a little bit of extra dough to go around, and you just are just so happy for us. Just you can buy us a coffee. So buy us a shot. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Matt, for that lovely wrap up there. And everyone, thank you. Christian, final words.
You guys pronounce coffee weird.
Coffee?
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 Well, how do you pronounce coffee?
Kavifi.
Well, okay, now I think you're saying it right. The first time it didn't sound right.
Okay, thank you for that final word. Excellent wrap up. Matthew, final word. Matthew.
Thanks for having me on your show, David.
All right, listeners, viewers, thank you so much for being here. We'll be back with another podcast next weekend, and we'll have some quick pick picks videos this week. So we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day, everyone. Stop playing.
When it's April 2nd and she's still pregnant.
Okay. All right, viewers. Hope everyone has a wonderful day. See ya. Bye. What do you
Melvin
mean?
Gordon's active today?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
He wasn't supposed to be.
He's on, but I don't think